Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the REDX podcast. My name is Andrew. I'll be your host today. And today we have a very exciting return guest. This is his, I think, fourth or fifth time coming on the podcast. His name is Guy Migues. He's from Louisiana, and he has quite the real estate journey. Guy, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited that you're here today, Guy. If I can just brag for you for just a minute. When I first met Guy, he was a new real estate agent. He was hustling for sale by owners. He was closing deals. And then I talked to him a year or two later, and now he's a team lead, right? And he's teaching some of his fellow agents how to do real estate. He's leading his team. Then I get in touch with Guy a couple of years later, and he's starting his own brokerage, and he just launched Guy, like under a month ago, AM Realty here.
Yes, sir. Yep. I counted from the day we had internet at the office. So the day we had internet at the office has been about a month.
Okay, about a month. So about a month of you being able to do actual work and actually prospect and actually lead your team. But what an amazing journey, Guy, that you went from, in a relatively short amount of time. I mean, am I right there? It's like 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Excuse me. Yeah. So 4 years, almost to the day, man. I got my real estate license in August of 2019, like August 1st, 2019. Dang. And I got my broker's license August 10th of this year, 23. Yeah, we had 23. So yeah, exactly 4 years to getting my broker's license. As soon as I was eligible, I went to take the test.
Amazing. Yeah. So for everyone watching and listening today, Guy is the person to listen to because he's hustled. He's done well as an agent, as a team lead, and now he's dipping his toes into being a broker. So obviously an amazing mindset, amazing drive, amazing motivation to rock and roll. So we are going to dive into some really good topics today. We're going to be talking about a lot of actionable advice for new agents, some of the do's and don'ts that Guy is learning from some of the new agents on his team that he learned as a new agent. We're going to be talking about scripts. We might dive into some specifics on lead stacks for sell by owners. We're going to go wherever the wind takes us, but it's going to be a great podcast. Always is when we're with Guy. Before we get started, though, if you're joining us live on YouTube, I think Facebook is a little bit broken for us today, but if you're live on YouTube, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from. If you have any questions for Guy, please put those in the chat. And Guy will give you all of his wisdom there. And as always, like and subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook, across the board, and tune in every Thursday, because we do go live like this every Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Time, 3:30 Eastern. So, Guy, let's kick it off. We were talking pre-show about some of your advice for new agents, some of the stuff that you teach as they're getting on the team. I'm just going to kind of let you take it away. You be the team lead and the broker here, and hit us with it.
All right. Well, I'm a new broker, so if I embarrass myself on here, everyone, y'all don't talk crap. Get on here and do it. It's hard. All right.
It is hard.
Also, if you want to play a drinking game, every time I take a sip of water, you take a sip, because whenever I talk, I drink. So y'all gonna have to deal with it.
Shaking with nerves because he's so nervous.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with my hand. Anyway, sorry about that. So, man. Yeah, so whenever we first started talking about doing this a little bit differently than on the previous podcast I came on with you, I had this idea of just kind of running through like a for sale by owner 101.
Yeah.
I think what sets me apart from other people is I'm not an expert swimmer who's never been in a pool. I'm not in a big market where, I sell 4 houses and I'm making 6 figures. It's not like that here. Year one, I had to sell, I think 40 deals, something like that. And my entire career is built on prospecting. Didn't have any family in the business. I'm a high school dropout. Right before I got my real estate license, I was a dropout, had to get my GED. So we really got this thing out the mud. And I think I'm uniquely qualified to give some advice in getting it out the mud. Because look, there's only a few ways to get business in real estate. Okay. Probably 3 if we narrow it down. Number 1 is sphere of influence. Do you have friends and family who are looking to make some moves right now? That's an option for it. It's a good option. Option number 2 is buying leads. And if you ever bought leads, you probably hate leads because they're expensive. They very rarely pan out. And for us new agents at the beginning, we're going to suck. Okay, so you're going to be paying for leads to just mess them up. Okay, so that's a good option, right? If you have the money, stuff like that. But there's a third option, a free option, a broke new agent option, prospecting. And look, man, if you're getting in this to make some quick money, I got some bad news for you. You're 30 to 60 days minimum away from a check. Okay, if everything works out perfectly for you, you're 30 to 60 days away. The quickest way to a check is a for sale by owner. They got their hand up, or an expired. They got their hand up. They want to sell. They're just waiting for a person just like you to call them and help them out. So let's go over for sale by owners. Okay, so if you don't have a good sphere, I didn't. Everyone who would have bought a house with me would have had to loan them some money or something like that.
You'd be losing money at that point.
Yeah, so that wasn't an option. Leads wasn't an option because I was behind on other bills. I wasn't buying the leads. So I really had to prospect. And the good news is that I didn't know any real estate agents at the beginning to tell me how scary for sale by owners are, because they're not. They're just people. Andrew's a potential for sale by owner, right? But Andrew's a nice guy. But if you put
I can be scary sometimes. Let's take it easy with it.
Yeah. But if you put a for sale sign in front of Andrew's house, he becomes some type of gremlin that you should be scared of.
Right.
It's just a guy selling a house. So we just need to find a nice, easy way to touch base and connect with a guy just like Andrew. Okay. So, so for sale by owners, first off, let me tell you guys this. The facts are, if you're a newer agent, 80% of us, at least, I didn't look up the number because why would I do that? At least 80% of us are going to flunk out our first year. And I'm being light on that number because I don't want to oversell it.
Sure.
There are problems in this industry. There are major problems with new agents. If you don't have 5 years under your belt, you're not secure. I'm not secure. I only have 4 years. I promise you, I have to get up and work every day to maintain what we have. So 80% of us are not going to make it. Okay. But with rates like that, brokerages and the industry have to have some responsibility in those failure rates. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. The individual agents are also responsible. Okay. We don't keep a schedule. We don't have a plan. For some reason, we don't show up for our sales like we show up for that $15 an hour Costco job or at the Dollar General. You work harder over there for minimum wage than you do for yourself with the opportunity to make unlimited income. Right? Because it's hard to deal with all this freedom that we get when we become self-employed.
I was going to ask, Guy, do you think it's because of the freedom that people give themselves more leeway? Because, if you don't show up to your job at Costco, you're not going to get paid. You can show up to a real estate job, you might not get paid. So,
well, no, here's the reality. You show up to Costco a little late, you barely do your job, you'll get a check on Friday. If you're not emptying the bucket and competing in real estate, I promise you, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. But the good news is most people aren't working. So 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents. Okay. I think schedule and actually being a professional separate the 80 from the 20. As simple as that. Now there is some skills that come involved with it. Some skills do matter, but I think just showing up, because these folks don't work, dude. Hang out with some real estate agents. They don't work.
Sure.
We go to the office. We drink coffee with someone who's never going to buy a house. We go to lunch with someone who's never going to buy or sell a house. And then we go home in the afternoons and eventually those countless days of nothing happening are going to start wearing and you're going to flunk out of this business. Okay. We get very, very creative in ways of avoiding talking about buying or selling houses with the public. I want to break that off of you. I want to break that off you. And I want you to turn from, that's the 80. The 80 is getting very creative in ways of not talking about buying or selling a house. The 20 are out here trying to have as many conversations as possible. So we're going to switch. We're going to switch to the 20 because you don't have to fail. You don't have to fail. And you don't need to be a millionaire either. Okay. I know we're consumers and we love things and we love money. Man, get 15 listings a year. You're making a nice living for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're providing for your family. You're putting food on the table. And you also get the freedom, because eventually, yeah, you'll get to kind of kick your feet up a little bit and just kind of take it as it comes. But the freedom is what kills us at the beginning. You're not free. You're behind on your bills and your promises. You're behind on everything. You just started a sales company and you have 0 clients. How long do you think a sales company is going to last with 0 clients?
They're going to go under.
They're going to go under.
No
Can't
money.
do it. Can't do it, right?
Right.
You won't renew. You got to pay all these dues, these MLS dues and these
Right.
board dues and all that. You got to get some money coming in. So, I mean, if we got all that out of the way, let's look at how do we get into that 20, okay?
Yeah.
And it's not hard. So you want me to move on? You're good?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And I love this guy because I've heard that exact same ratio in so many different places. The 80-20 rule, right? It applies to real estate. It applies to so many other industries, but where 20% of the people are getting 80% of the business, probably less than that. And you know, vice versa. The obvious answer is, yeah, I want to be part of that 20%. But so then, you know, why isn't it more? And yeah, I think that, you know, let's move on and let's jump into some of this advice that's going to help agents be in that 20%, right?
Yes. Hey, even if you want to be in the 20% at Costco, no hate on your Costco people. Become a manager, dude. Work hard at Costco too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about show up early, have a good attitude, work hard. You'll be running that place in no time.
Yeah.
You know, so let's go over some of the things though. So how to be in the 20% as a new agent. Okay. I got some notes written down. I'm gonna look and read some of this stuff too. So one thing that I would recommend to folks is immediately to not be scared. There's nothing to be afraid of when we're calling for sale by owners, expireds, any of them. The only time it even slightly gets choppy is if you're terrible, or you just run into these random people who just have a sour attitude. Most folks are nice enough. As long as you don't be annoying, as long as you're not annoying them, and you have some skill and you have some finesse, you'll be fine. What's the worst thing that can happen? Andrew, answer that for me. What's the worst thing that could happen if we call it for sale by owner?
They cuss you out and tell you to never talk to them again. You get rejected.
You get rejected. So some stranger will tell you no to an idea that you had. Not even rejecting you, they just met you. They don't. When they hang up, they do not remember your name. I have a rule: you got to cuss me out 2 times before I stop calling. Because the first time you might have just been having a bad day, right? So the worst thing that could possibly happen is the same thing that's happening right now. You don't have the business. Best case scenario: one person says yes to you a month, and you're feeding your family in real estate, and you're making more money than you ever have. Worst case scenario. You only get 1 deal a month. Okay, so let's look at schedule. I think that's the most important thing. Well, the second most important thing is schedule, keeping a good schedule. Okay, so if you get out of bed at 10, 11 o'clock, like I said, you roll into the office, you hang out with some realtors, you don't do anything, you're going to get smoked. You're going to be out of here in no time. Okay. So set yourself a schedule. Whatever time you want to get up, but show up for yourself. I mean, look, we can't be in bed after 7 o'clock, for dang sure. You're not going to compete with people like me if you're in bed at 7. You know, I'm up ready to roll way before then, you know. Well, typically, I don't know. Lately, I've been tired. This brokerage thing is not easy. But yeah, you're going to have to set yourself a schedule. You can't have this like 8 to 5 mindset trying to be a business owner. And that's what all you guys are. So set yourself a schedule and stick to it. Okay. The old prospecting rule handed down from Mike Ferry. I don't know who he got it from, maybe like the Angel Gabriel or something. 3 hours, 3 times a week minimum for prospecting. Now look, if you're a full-time new agent and you're only doing 3 hours 3 times a week, that ain't gonna cut it, buddy. Okay, because we have to build a foundation at the beginning. Okay, we need to get these rejections, we need to get these no's, we need to be working on our script, we need to be making these calls to where we make these pivots and these adjustments that fit you better. And it's important at the beginning that you really empty the bucket. So if 3 hours 3 times a week is the recommended, do you only want to do the recommended? Do you want to be the average? No, of course not.
That makes you part of the 80 eventually.
Makes you part of the 80. And I'm not even sure if I'm part of the 20, but if I ain't in the 20, I don't know how to get in there. I bet you I'm in the top 20% of hardest workers.
There you go.
Guarantee you that. So keep you a schedule, and if you're a prospector, minimum 3 hours 3 times a week. Okay. But there's some things we need to do before we ever prospect. All right. And this is some of the things I think that people miss at the beginning. It's very important. So I'm just going to kind of do like just a recap, just a little brief introduction on how I sell anything from a pen to a house to anything. Okay.
Let's hear it.
First things first in the line of a sale is building rapport. Okay. Got to build rapport. The second thing you have to do is you have to ask questions that is important to the seller or to whoever you're selling. Okay. I think Zig Ziglar said the quickest way to get someone to hear you is to ask questions and figure out exactly where they are.
Right.
And the better you get at asking these questions while in rapport, gets you closer to the desired outcome, which is an appointment or a listing. Okay. Lastly is we need a close. Okay. You got to close. Soft closers, people who do not close or ask for the business. They say salespeople who don't close have skinny kids. All right. So you got to ask for the business. All right. But it has to be done in order. We have to be in rapport. We have to have the right information to give a decent value proposition and a decent close. And then you have to close. Right. At any point of the way, you fall out of rapport or you're not questioning, you can't close. If you're questioning while you're out of rapport, you're about to get smoked. Okay. So we have to make sure that we're doing those 3 things in order. Okay.
Right. Guy, could you maybe pause and give us just a few examples of what you would consider a soft close?
Yeah, sure. I mean, hey, let me ask you, Mr. Seller, if I could show you a way that I can put the same amount of money or more in your pocket and still get you to the closing table, get you to your new job in Oklahoma, and take care of the sale for you, take the stress off you, find you a good buyer. Would you be open to that idea?
I don't know. I'm not really convinced that that's possible.
Hey, me neither, man. But look, if I can show you a way that I could do that for you, is that something you'd be excited about?
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I just don't believe that you can.
Sure. I'm not sure if I can either, but why don't we do this? If you have some time on Tuesday or Thursday, why don't we sit down for 20 minutes? I'll show you the numbers. I'll show you what we can do for you to get you to Oklahoma. And then we'll go from there. If all the numbers make sense, we do something. If it doesn't, we don't. And look, I'll let you know right away if I don't think I can help you. You got 20 minutes for me on Tuesday or Thursday?
Sorry, man. I don't think I do.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate you.
Was that a soft close, Guy?
Nah, I pushed a little bit harder than soft, but that's reality. Right. That conversation. So look, the highlight reel is awesome. The highlight reel is fantastic. Hey, if I can show you a way that I can put some more money in your pocket, would you be interested? No. Well, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
So another thing that people go wrong with is they blow the deal up off of one call because we have to have that deal right now because we're desperate. Look, I asked you for the business a couple of times. Obviously, I wasn't in rapport with you, or I didn't ask the right questions, and you're not convinced. Okay, cool. I at least showed you that I had some sales skills. I at least showed you that I had some backbone, but I didn't piss you off, did I?
Right.
I can call you back next week. I'll call you back next week. I'll just follow up because a lot of agents are calling, one time. Some people are calling 2 times. Knowing it, no one is calling 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. I will call you until you list, sell, or the world ends. Until then, it's still live for me because I haven't upset you. Now, if I just sit there and close on you, eventually you're going to tell me to F off. You're going to hang up on me, and that's going to be it. Don't blow up the deal. Again, in order to get the sale, what do we have to do? We have to be in rapport. We have to ask the right questions, and we have to give a value proposition, and we have to close. Okay. If I close without the 2, it's no bueno. right? So now let's build off of that. Let's build off of that right there. So we need to ask questions. We need to build rapport. We need a question. We need to close. But also there's some other things, some traits that we have to convince the seller that we're the right people for them, okay? We need to be casual. We need to be confident. We need to be an expert. And we need to be excited. Okay? So casual, first name basis. I'm not telling you what company I'm with. I'm not telling you my stats, none of that. It's real easy. Hey, this is Guy. I'm a real estate agent here in town. How you doing? Right? Real casual, real cool, my personality. Confident, I gotta have a certain level of confidence to talk to people like I talk to. Those people know that I'm just being myself, right? Expert. So at the end right there, with me closing, I'm asking you certain questions. I have these little canned statements that display how I have knowledge of the market, stuff like that. Shows I'm an expert, and I have a certain level of enthusiasm that makes you think I'm at least decent to talk to. You know what I mean? So you got to have all those things, in my opinion, in order to get to a yes. Make sense?
Sorry, I think I was muted there. Am I back on?
Yeah, I lost you. Yeah, got you.
Cool. And I love how you're breaking this up into basically 3 steps or 3 principles for each of these things, you know? Don't be scared, schedule, prospect. Build rapport, ask questions, close. Be casual, be confident, be an expert, and be excited, right? I think the way you've broken this down and kind of built it on itself, like you said earlier, as a foundation of prospecting, right? As a foundation of being a part of this 20%, totally makes sense. And I'm hoping that it really resonates with the agents watching today and listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that, Guy. That's awesome.
Cool. Well, look, just to build a little bit more off of that too.
Yeah.
So again, we're kind of going over the stuff that you need to be doing at the beginning. A lot of times the coaches and stuff like that neglect this. You know, it's buy this program, do this script, and you'll be fine.
Did you know all this, or were you taught all this when you were a new agent 4 years ago, Guy?
So no, but I am a student of YouTube University, and I love sales and I research. So people like Brian Casella, Kevin Ward. My first script started with Kevin Ward. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of developed it from there. It's a little bit more yes. It doesn't work here that great because people here just kind of want to have a conversation. If they feel like you're selling them, they're gonna be turned off by that, and it just doesn't fit my personality that great. But it was a great starting point. People like Zig Ziglar for sales, Brian Tracy just for sales, and just being overall obsessed. And then also understanding at the beginning that this was no quick thing. You're going to go through some pain. You're going to go through some heartache. You're going to go through some trials and tribulations as a prospect. Okay. Right. But in those first 6 months, it's so important to go through those things because what you're becoming is so much more valuable than the money you're making within those first 6 months. Because look, you're in a situation like I am 4 years in, starting a brokerage. I'm starting over from scratch. I'm still cold calling. I'm still doing this stuff. And man, see, you give me this, and you give me MLS access, and I can make some things shake. And I can't wait for the weather to cool down. It's hot over here. As soon as it cools down, I'm going door knocking.
Nice.
It's the skills you develop that you can replicate your success, and you can kind of project what you're going to be doing. I know for a fact if I start from 0, which I have here recently, I know I can be up to 15 in no time. Through the grace of God and some hard work. You're going to cry. It's going to suck. It's going to be tough. This is not for the faint of heart. If this was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right.
It's not easy. It hurts. But what you're becoming through that hurt is more valuable than what you're making because you won't be making much at the beginning. Dude, my computer's about to die. Could you believe that? I
couldn't. You got to. Can you plug it in, or do we need to wrap up here for you?
No, pause.
Okay, we'll pause.
Oh, hang on.
We'll pause. We'll sit tight. And just for everyone joining us live and listening to this replay, I want you to save this episode and maybe go back and watch some of the older episodes that Guy's done. Like I said, we've done 4 or 5 episodes with him from the beginning of his journey. The first conversation I had with Guy, he said, I'm a new agent. I got 10 new listings in the last month or in the last week, and it's all for sale by owners. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you. I've been with Guy every step of this journey, and it's incredible how much these principles he's talking about, how much what he's teaching here today, how true it is, and how much I've actually seen him live it and seen him implement all these principles. So please go back, go to YouTube, Google the REDX podcast, Guy Migues, and you will find all of those previous episodes, and go watch his journey and watch how a lot of these principles, a lot of these things, yes, he's learned a lot, but a lot of his mindset and a lot of his discipline hasn't changed at all. From a new agent to a team lead to a broker, those foundational principles are all the same. Looks like you got plugged in. We're back, Guy.
Crisis averted.
I love it.
Yeah. So where were we? Oh yeah. Real estate hurts. Yes, it does. But like he was saying, even from the beginning. So the first time I came on, I was about 3 months away. About 3 months earlier than that, I was ready to quit. I was ready to call it a day. I was tired of real estate, and man, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel that here recently too.
Right.
Because it's hard doing this, especially if you don't come from a stable background where you have this business knowledge. I mean, I'm learning all this stuff for the first time too, but I tell you what, prospecting has opened these doors. If it wasn't for prospecting, I can guarantee you I would not be a real estate agent today. No way. But yeah, but you can do it. You can do it.
No, I love it. And Guy, we have a question here from Monica. She asks, you mentioned door knocking. You mentioned once it warms up down there, once it cools off down there in Louisiana. It's warm right now. Once it cools off, you're going to go door knocking. What do you bring when you go door knocking, and how do you choose an area for that door knocking?
I bring my smile and my winning personality.
That's
No,
it. That's it.
No. I'm just kidding. I usually bring like a door hanger. I'll get a lender or something to partner with me on a door hanger, just for folks who aren't home. Don't let me catch y'all putting door hangers without at least knocking on the door. Don't avoid the people. Talk to the people. So I do bring a door hanger typically, and I usually do like Kevin Ward's hot market script. You can look it up on YouTube. That is exactly what I do whenever I go door knocking.
Gotcha.
It works perfectly. It's just giving information. It's a real slick way to do it.
Totally. And how do you choose the areas you're going to go door knocking in? Is her second part of that question.
I look for areas that are either highly desirable, or like I look for trends in the market. Like, hey, look over here. If I could find something under 200,000, which is a decent house here, if I could find a neighborhood that has like these low twos, I'm going to find those, because with these high interest rate, high insurance, stuff like that, those homes are selling like hotcakes. We can't keep enough of them. Be careful though, man. Be careful going around door knocking. Be safe. Take the proper protocol, stuff like that. Wear some shoes in case you got to run from a Yorkie or something. I got chased by a Yorkie, and look, let me tell you something. Them boys will bite you when they catch you. So be careful. Have some running shoes on just in case.
Totally. I love that. Well, I hope that answers that for you, Monica. Some great advice from Guy there. Guy, we've talked a lot about advice for new agents, what to do before the script, what to do on the calls, what you can say, some strategies there. Let's move forward in some of your history as an agent, team lead, broker. What are some things that you are now noticing and maybe reteaching yourself from some of the new agents on your team, from being a broker that you're relearning yourself? You mentioned you still prospect as a team lead and as a broker. What are some things now that maybe are still true from before, and some new things that you've learned and that you've implemented in the last few months?
Yeah. Well, the wheel's still the same. I was able to not have to prospect a whole lot before I started the brokerage. Like, I was starting to roll a little bit, but this summer was bad. This summer was slow, starting a new business, all those expenses. I mean, I did 180 hours worth of coursework a month ago. Can't do a whole lot of prospecting when you're doing that. Right. So things have changed a bit, but I'll tell you what, whenever I did pick up the phone to start prospecting again, it's still just the same thing. People are still buying and selling houses. I live in Lafayette. Well, I live in Youngsville. A couple towns over is New Iberia. If an asteroid hits New Iberia today, we will still be closing on a house in Lafayette. So like the rising interest rate, things like that don't really matter a whole lot. Check your market. There are still closings happening. Every closing is the opportunity for 2 checks, buy side, sell side. And someone's making that money. Someone ain't even noticing the slowdown. Someone ain't noticing any of that. That's excuses that the 80% give to make themselves feel better while they ain't making no money.
I was about to say excuses, Guy. What I hear you saying is that there's no excuses, right?
No, but I tell you what, also too, there's no excuses, but you could work incredibly hard. You could give it everything you got, and failure is still absolutely a 50% option. Right?
Absolutely.
But failure is you will fail if you don't work hard. And it's not this. It's like this, and then it goes like this, and it's not just a straight shot upward. I mean, I'm not on that trajectory. I don't know anyone who is. Right. You know, I just don't think it's like that, bro. I don't think it's like that. Unless you're a real estate coach, then you could just say it's like that. I'm not a real estate coach. Right. I'm a broker in the real world, boots on the ground. You still have to put an effort in. And it's still the same thing. It's just prospecting. Nothing's new.
Absolutely. And that's why I love you having on the show, Guy. We're running low on time here. I think we've had a lot of great stuff. I mean, time flies every time with you because you know, we're having fun and I
ramble.
Well, you ramble a little bit, but it's valuable rambling is what I would say. And I think everyone would agree. We've got some people chiming in. Failure is only when you give up. Don't give up, follow successful people, and you can't fail. So Guy, as we wrap up the show here today, any final words, any final advice for our agents listening today?
Yes. I want to give some good. This is going to be some good stuff. So y'all record this part. I don't know if we recorded all of it. Record this part. Here's the secret. Okay. Find yourself a script. Okay. Find yourself a script, but don't call anyone right now. Okay. Think about this. Andrew, what's your favorite movie? Give me a good movie.
The Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Okay. So you think little Frodo just got the script and you know, he's walking around just reading it. You think that would have gotten any emotion out of you? You think you'd have been bought into that movie at all?
I highly doubt it. Yeah.
Frodo was entirely scripted. The entire movie was fake. Okay. But the actor's ability to take that script, role play it, rehearse it, bring it into himself, and then give a good interpretation of that script in his personality is the secret to cold call. People get smoked because the first time they pick up a script is the first time they call in people. Okay. Professional athletes, they train all week long, and then we play the game for a couple hours on Sunday, and then that's it. Okay. Don't do that. Practice all week, role play, rehearse, go over it with yourself, obsess over this thing. Get really good at it in by yourself, and then take it out there and go to work. Put your head down for a year. Okay. Keep notes of every call log. Every time something goes good, every time something goes bad, when it falls apart, when it goes well, keep notes on everything. Make adjustments and keep your head down for at least a year and just work. I guarantee you pick up your head with more listings than what you would have had the other way around. Find yourself a script. It doesn't matter which one. Internalize it, present it in your personality, and then go. Okay. Don't worry about anything for at least a year, though. Don't change nothing. Pivot, make adjustments, but get to work.
I gotcha. Great advice, Guy. Thank you so much for joining us again on this podcast. Like I mentioned earlier to everyone, please go back and watch Guy's entire journey, the 3 or 4 other podcasts we've done with him leading up to today. Check out his journey, notice the things we've all mentioned, and then revisit this episode to really hone in and implement the amazing strategies and foundational principles that I think are good for any agent, new or old, experienced or inexperienced, need to follow all the time. So we're getting a lot of people saying thanks for the information, great stuff. So a big thank you from our audience, Guy. For the audience, as always, we go live every Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Time, 3:30 Eastern. So please join us next week, same time, same place. And because you're our live viewers and because you are subscribed to the podcast, we've got a special deal for all of our podcast listeners out there. If you go to the REDX redx.com/podcast. It's on the screen there. You'll get a special deal where you can save $150 when you sign up using that website and the button there. So go check that out. As always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Guy, thank you again so much, and we will talk to everyone later.